Okay, hello Link341. This is yet another lesson on vowels or vowel acoustics. Some things you need to know before we start the next transcription exercise. Tracks number 7 involves working on some spectrogram matching exercises in class. I'll actually show you homework, what this means and how it looks like in reality. So this is spectrogram matching. You will have vowel matching exercise number 1 here and vowel matching exercise number 2, and you will need to match these vowels with spectrograms, right? You will write here last name, UCID, doesn't really matter, and then you will say, okay, according to what I've seen, bad is, for example, G, bead is M, bid is G, and so on and so forth. When you do all of these, you can save the page, like maybe trying to you can just print as well, like right click print, or you can take a screenshot of the page just so you have it, because only one try will be accounted for, or counted for. Yeah, that's about it. That's about the vowel matching exercise. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we'll talk about Ryan the Dragon later. Normally, we have students work with these in groups because they're not easy to process. So feel free to talk to your friends and classmates about them. We won't do them in groups, but feel free to converse and communicate about these. Okay. The point of it all is that voice speech sounds is a complex periodic wave, right? If I record, for example, some speech sound like this is my sort of a neutral vowel here, right? And this speech sound is a periodic wave, right? Let's check it out, maybe like this. So you can see it's complex, but it's periodic. It's repeating itself in regular patterns, right? And it has a fundamental frequency. In my case, this fundamental frequency or pitch is, let me remove the spectrum, is okay, maybe because I have very low voice, I'll do this, and I'll check it here, maybe in the middle, around 85 hertz, right? Very low voice. Okay, that's my fundamental frequency. In speech, a series of harmonics with frequencies at integer multiples of fundamental frequency pour into the vocal tract from the glottis. What this means, no, I don't need this. What this means actually is that imagine you have a vocal tract like this, something like that, and here are your vocal folds, right? They're vibrating, right? Vibrating, and harmonics. So at the frequency they're vibrating, let's say mine were 85 hertz. At the integer multiple, these harmonics will pour into your vocal tract, right? So the next one will be how much? 170. So 85 times 2, right? Then the next one would be 340, something like that, and so on and so forth. So these would be harmonics, individual harmonics. Harmonic number 1, which is also fundamental frequency, F0, harmonic number 2, harmonic number 3, and so on and so forth, right? all the way there. And as we said, these are based on the Fourier's theorem, which says that complex waves are composed of sine waves or simple waves that are integer multiples of the fundamental frequency, right? And there they are, right? Okay, so they pour into your vocal tract, and what happens there is that they bounce back and forth. So they bounce back and forth in certain pattern, and that pattern was what we call a standing wave, right? Standing wave. And we saw that certain frequencies of these standing wave would be resonated further, so would be submitted to resonance, which means that they would be amplified, and those are the frequencies that make your vowels or your periodic wave. Those are the frequencies that we call formants. So those harmonics which match the resonant frequencies of the vocal tract will be amplified. So our vocal tract has certain resonant frequencies, right? And resonant frequencies of our vocal tract depend on the length of the vocal tract, the constitution, like structure of the vocal tract, right? And based on that, based on the properties of the vocal tract, certain resonant frequencies will be amplified. So vocal tract or frequencies will be amplified because of resonance, and those frequencies that are amplified are called formants. So vocal tract features, I'll write them like that. And those are usually physical features, right? Now we shape it. We shape our vocal tract by placing our tongue higher, lower, and so on and so forth. So the resonant frequencies change, right? That's how speech changes. So those harmonics which do not match the resonant frequencies of the vocal tract will be damped, right? And those that match will be amplified. Those are called formants. And we talked about we have formant number 1, formant number 2, most important 2 for our vowels, and we have formant number 3, important for some other things. But remember, Fourier's theorem breaks down any complex wave, as I said, into its component sine waves. For each component sine wave, this analytics shows us its frequency and its amplitude. So remember power spectrum, frequency and amplitude. So amplitude would be here on this y-axis, and frequency would be here. And imagine I have some kind of amplitude of 1 and amplitude of 2, and I have a sine wave of 200 hertz, right? And another sine wave of 400 hertz. So this is how I draw my power spectrum, right? Power spectrum, and you will be required to draw it for your homework. Okay, for your acoustics homework. So pay attention to it. So I know, based on this power spectrum, that this is a complex wave and it has 2 sine waves, right? Just based on this one. In vowels, resonating harmonics have higher intensity, right? Other harmonics will be damped, have lower intensity. And this is a vowel spectrum of the vowel which is a neutral vowel. And as I said, if I grab my own one, if I grab some chunk of it, for example this chunk, extract it, and let's see what it looks like. So it looks like a periodic, right? It is a periodic wave. It's a complex periodic wave, and it contains of multiple harmonics and multiple sine waves, but only some sine waves will be amplified. And to find out this, I can so this is my neutral Spectral vowel. I can go to Analyze Spectrum, to Spectrum, and I don't need this fast. I will click OK, and I will receive Spectrum or Power Spectrum. So this is what it looks like in its full form, but I just want to check out a couple of first harmonics. Okay, too much, maybe like this. So it seems that the first harmonic is around 100 hertz, something like that. Second one is around 500 hertz, and this one is quite amplified, right? So this is the one that is most amplified. So I assume that here will be my I'll do this, will be my F1. So let me change this. So maybe here F1. Okay. Yeah, text is F1. Have to increase it. Okay. Then somewhere here should be F2. Let's check it out. F2 around 1288. Okay, where are you? F2. And F3, I imagine somewhere here, but let's check it out. At around 2641, yes. And those are the most amplified ones, right? So F3, 3. And if I draw maybe something like this, let me see if it will cooperate with me. Okay. You see, those peaks actually are your formant frequencies. I can go further, F4, F5, and so on, but the first two are the most important for our purposes, and F3 perhaps. We'll see about that. All right. So this is how my formant frequencies look like for the neutral vowel right? And this is a power spectrum that shows them. Now, this is a spectrogram display of Steve's open 2 vowel, or just this vowel, right? This is my neutral vowel, and I will now show, I don't want to show pitch. So this is a waveform. You have to be careful about that. This is a waveform, and now we'll include a spectrogram. So this is a spectrogram of my vowel. This is just a chunk of a vowel, so I'll grab the whole vowel here. Yeah, here it is. So this is the spectrogram. The lower display is a spectrogram. On x-axis of the spectrogram is time. On y-axis is frequency. And those bars that are darker show more intensity. So as if I was turning towards you the spectrogram. It's a 3D spectrogram in a 2D display. So those bars that are you see them here on the lower display that are darker, have higher intensity, higher energies, and those are the resonant frequencies. If I were to maybe change a little bit to the spectrogram settings and set it up to a what we call a wideband spectrogram, I would see individual harmonics at specific frequencies, and the frequency is shown here: 110, 150, and so on and so forth. Maybe, yeah, if it's 100, then the next harmonic should be at 200 probably, then 300, and so on and so forth. Let's say it's rather at around 90 something, and you can see that some of these frequencies, 512, 620, here somewhere there, those are amplified, and here as well, right, at around 1280, right? And the third one might be at around 26, 23, just like we saw on our on this one, right? 500, at around 500 will be first formant frequency, which is what it shows here, right? So these are the formant frequencies, and they are darker, right? I will now go back to my initial display because it's better for formant frequencies. What I'm going to do and how to calculate these is basically grab a middle part of the vowel and put a cursor here towards the middle of this dark bar, and it's around 580. Okay, and the number 2, or frequency formant number 2, is around 1300, and number 3 is around 2639. Okay, all right, so these are the formant frequencies, and you can see them here very clearly, right? All right, different vowels have different formants, of course. As I said, we are shaping our vocal tract. So if I'm increasing, for example, my tongue here, then I might be reducing or decreasing the tongue, that is, raising it and not raising it, then going towards the back with the tongue, and so on and so forth. So my vocal tract is being shaped, and therefore different vowels have different formants. The formant frequencies of resemble the resonant frequencies of a tube that is open at one end, right? We saw that in our last class. For the average man like Peter Lyfoged or Dr. Steve Winters, F1 is 500 Hz, F2 is 1500, and F3 is 2500. However, we can change the shape of the vocal tract to get different resonant frequencies. Vowels may be defined in terms of their characteristic resonant frequencies, that is, formants. So if we change the vocal tract, our resonant frequencies are changing, and based on these resonant frequencies, when we measure them, we can basically see the characteristics of vowels and determine which vowels those are. So let's take a look at the characteristic resonant frequencies of the corner vowels like E, U, A, and these are just composed of 3 sine waves, not real speech, but of 3 sine waves. But they sound like E, right? Oops. And this one sounds like U, A, right? And you can see where their resonant frequencies are. We have a very low F1 for E, and very high F2 for E. We have very low F1 for U, and very low F2 for U as well. We have a higher F1 for A, and a higher or relatively high F2 for A, right? So those are the resonant frequencies that change. And F3 changes a little bit, but it's not important right now. And we take a look at these, so maybe listen. Now let's listen to real speech.
E, U, A.
And basically these lines here, the lines of greater intensity, correspond to these lines here, right? And you can see that. Even in Peter Lyfoged's
E, U, A.
Yeah, here it's a little bit confusing because there's a lot of noise and the audio recording is not the best, so we have to make sure that the audio recording is good. Here as well, they kind of second formant gloms on to the first formant, but we can still deduce that there are 2 of these. And we learned a long time ago in our articulatory phonetics that vowels are articulated with characteristic tongue and lip shapes, right? So remember our vowel dimensions. For he, you are raising your tongue high, right? And it's going further forward. For who, you're raising your tongue, but it's going further back, right? For ha, it's going down and further to the back, right? So based on these vowel characteristics, we set up or defined whatever you want, 4 dimensions. These are height, front, back, rounding, and tense and lax, or roundedness and tenseness and laxness, based on the distance from the center of the vowel space. So if you remember, we had a something like a vowel space like this, right? And we have high, right, mid, and low, and we had front vowels, central, and back, right? Okay, and we know that E is high in front, that I is high in front but a little towards the middle. Back vowel U is also high but back, and A is low and back, right? These are our corner vowels. Here you can have A, and somewhere here you can have, oops, maybe this way, A, right, and so on and so forth. So we know based on these 2 dimensions, this is dimension number 1, which is height, right, where these vowels in this vowel chart are, right? And this is front, back. And all of this is based on their articulatory properties. Now, because we know these articulatory properties and that they shape form and frequencies, we can flip it around, right? We can say, okay, let me see form and frequencies, and then I'll determine which vowels those are, right? Because now we know that certain vowels will have higher F1, and certain vowels will have lower F1, certain vowels will have higher F2, and certain vowels will have lower F2, right? So vowels are primarily distinguished by their first 2 form and frequencies, F1 and F2. F1 corresponds to vowel height, and F2 corresponds to front and backness, right? And that's very important to remember. Lower F1, counterintuitively though, means higher vowel. Higher F1 means lower vowel. Higher F2 means fronter vowel. Lower F2 means backer vowel, right? And if we take a look at maybe I can draw it here, our vowel chart. I won't draw the whole thing. I will just draw height and front and back, right? So we said that F1 corresponds to vowel height, right? So we would have F1 here. And we know, based on what we said, that higher vowels means lower F1. So F1 goes from here to here, right? This is low, and this is high. Okay, low and high. Now, that's good. We know that F2 corresponds to front, back, right? So this would be front, central, back, high, mid, low. And F2, we know that higher F2 are fronter vowels, so F2 goes from here to here. And this is low, this is high. It is a bit counterintuitive, but we'll see why that's so. All right. Now, let's check it out, right? Let's check it out. I had a neutral vowel here, right? My a vowel. I know that this is my kind of a first formant or first formant frequency, and this one should be in the center, right? It's around 580, and the second one should be around 1300. Okay, so let's say that my my vowel here is at 580 according to first formant. So let's put it here, right? Here. And it's around, what is the second one? 1300. Okay, let it be here, 1300. So my schwa is over there, 580, 1300. Okay, I've determined that. Now, let us check something else. Let us listen to Peter Ladefoged's vowels. These will not be the same, of course, but we can maybe compare them to my own right, in terms of that. Although we should have Peter Ladefoged's as well.
Heed,
Let me see if he's
hid,
producing it.
head, had, hod, hod, hood, hood.
No, he's not producing his neutral vowel, so I will make a new chart out of this. So I'll do this on a board. I hope you can see this. All right. So we know that F1 and F2 correspond to certain vowel dimensions, and we draw it like this, right? Okay, the lighting is not the best. Draw it like this, and we know that this is F1, and this here is F2, right? Low, high. Yeah, unfortunately you cannot see it very well, or maybe you can. I'll still draw in a PowerPoint. It's better for you. Okay, let's do the same thing with Peter Ladefoged's vowels. So F1, F2, right? Low to high, low to high. All right, let's check it out. So
Heed,
this is heed, right? First formant is, so I will do the following. I'll grab the middle chunk, right? The middle chunk, and I'll put cursor somewhere here, right? On the first formant in the middle, and it's around 389. And the second formant is around here, 2361. Okay, 2361, 61, and 300, 380, something like that. So here's E should be here, right? If I do the following like this, right? And so on and so forth, E should be over here, right? Okay. Okay. And what's the next one? The next one is
hid,
I want to play.
head,
Okay.
had,
Maybe this one.
hod, hod, hood, hood.
Let me grab oo, hood. So these two kind of overlap, but you can see one that it's around 373, the other one is around 880, 850. Okay, so it's around somewhere somewhere here, right? If I want to do this, 850 hertz. All right. Then the next one is, what's the next one?
Had,
Let me grab this
had,
right? I think this is
head, had, had.
Yeah. So 620, around 620. Okay, maybe 650 and 1700. Okay, so 650 and 1700. That's very low, but it is what it is. I'll place it as a second one. 1700. Okay, 1700. Let it be somewhere here. And this one's 650, somewhere there. So my A would be, or Peter Live because A would be there. All right. Then the next one.
Had, had,
Yeah, this one.
had, had.
This one is more like on, but not so much towards the back. It's usually even backer, but that's okay. 570, 900, and 950. So 570, 950. I can draw it somewhere 950, somewhere here. Odd, right? That's Peter Lidefoget's. Those are Peter Lidefoget's point vowels. So if I make a connection here, you can see that there is some kind of a generality with respect to the vowel chart and to the to this vowel chart, right? You can see A, U, E, right? And to Peter Lidefoget's F1 and F2 frequencies. So they correspond, right? This would be front, back, and this one would be height, right? All right. So we saw that Peter Lidefoget's and how we can measure the frequencies. So place the cursor in the middle, grab a middle chunk. That's where it's most stable because it's not influenced by the consonants so much, by, for example, h and d, right? Consonants. So grab the chunk in the middle and place the cursor on where you think the greatest intensity is for formant 1, for formant 2, right? And these are the two most important formant frequencies that correspond to articulatory dimensions that we need for measuring vowels. All right, I would have plotted them on the board, really, but I'm not sure if you're going to see this very well. So yeah, we're doing this way. There are some things to keep in mind. Resonant frequencies are primarily based on the length of a speaker's vocal tract, the length of the open tube, right? So if I have a speaker here, and if it has longer tube, it will have lower formants because it just takes more time for the standing wave to be realized, right? To repeat. The longer the vocal tract, the lower the formant frequencies. What effect might lip rounding have on formant frequencies? And you can think of that, so just try to make it, right? If you have a tube like this, and if you round your lips even more so, ooh, right? What effect would that have on formant frequencies? Will they be higher or lower, right? So I'll leave you with that. Thought question number 2, how might formant frequencies differ between men and women? And we're going to answer that right now. So these are some male formant averages, right? This one is around, I don't know, 2300. This one is around, and 2300 F2, right? So F2, and this is F1. F1 and F2. And around, what is it, 320, let's say, for F1. For U, it's also the F1 is similar, but F2 is much lower, right? It's quite to the back, and so on and so forth. You can see that these are not really standard because there is a lot of variation in speech. Is not really here as it should be according to some kind of theories, but it's around here. Okay, and these are female averages, and you may well see that for male averages, formant frequencies are lower, right? And for female averages, formant frequencies are higher. And that's because of the shape of the vocal tract and because of the vocal folds vibration. So it's mainly because of that. When we compare the two, we can see that female formant frequencies are wider as well, wide range of those, and male formant frequencies not so much. Okay, I think you can work this yourself. What's important to stress is that the acoustics of male and female vowels differs reliably along the two different dimensions. The first one is source, the second one is filter. Source is basically your vocal folds. Those are your vocal folds, and the filter is the vocal tract. I'll go back again to our drawing here. So source would be vocal folds, and filter would be vocal tract, right? Vocal tract. But pay attention, vocal tract is quite huge, or there is a lot of space here. So vocal tract, right, all the way there. And based on the way we shape the vocal tract, our frequencies will change as well, right? So something to keep in mind for sure. And as I said, the first one is source, vocal folds, and second one is filter. F0, or the source, depends on the length of vocal folds, so it depends on the structure of vocal folds, and that's it. Formants depend on the length of vocal tract, right? Shorter in women and higher formant frequencies, right? Longer in men, which means that they are lower formant frequencies, and that's something that we talked about, right? Okay, now I wanted to show you some prototypical examples of people who have, for example, high F0 high source and high filter, right? High F0 and high formant frequencies, or low F0 and low formant frequencies, and some mismatches. And I'm going to play this from current slide. So these are some of Dr. Steve's examples when he was a child. He grew up with Andre the Giant.
Here you go. I saw the princess table.
Sorry, with Andre the Giant, who was a movie star and who had a very low voice because of huge vocal folds, and because of his physique here, of his large vocal tract. Let me just set up this. Sorry, we're doing this right now. But I want to play them properly. All right, so Andre the Giant.
How long do we have to
Sounds
wait
like this.
before if we know the maker walks?
Your guess is as good as mine. I'll beat you apart. I'll take you both together.
I guess not very long. Here you go. I saw the princess table, and there they were, 4 white horses. And I thought, there are 4 of us. If we ever find a lady. Hello, lady.
Yeah, he was a movie star with very low F0 and low formant frequencies. Right, another one is Goldie Hawn, high F0, high formant frequencies. You can check her out. She is, there are clips out there. And alternatively, there is Sugar of Canada's YTV. Think we heard of Canadians about her, and she has very. I'll play it here for you. She has very
If you were running your business
high
offline,
F0 and
would you let your back door
high
wide?
frequencies.
Gentlemen of now think at YT introduced you Sugar.
And this is her first day on the Zone TV.
So Sugar, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the zone.
Thank you very much.
I'm still a little confused. I have no idea where you came from. How did you get the job here? What, like, did the producers just listen to my cries all weekend and then you came?
They were worried about you.
Uh-huh.
and so on and so forth. And then I just, honestly, it's a really long story. I had to call this guy and that guy and the next girl.
Sugar, egg.
Yeah, so that's how she sounds and how she looks like. Very high F0 and high formant frequencies. These are some of my examples that hopefully you will know these better than Under the Giant. I hope you know about Shaq.
So this was the time where, he's a great player, but is he really a great player? He's not winning championships. I never thought we would win. So, every year we got better, Kobe and myself, but then when we come to the playoffs, we would lose. So that one last time before we hit 3 in a row, I just went in the office and I just ripped 5 off the wall. And Jerry West came in and he told me a story.
Yeah, so these are Shaq's low F0, low formant frequencies. And this is, of course, Cardi B.
I know he was gonna give me a very expensive gift because he wasn't there for my birthday, but I thought he was gonna give me like a watch or something. But he just went out his way.
Yeah, so hers are not as dramatic as Sugar's, but it's still very high F0 and high formant frequencies.
So this was the time.
Okay, and some also very low former or just relatively low former frequencies, low F0. There is an actress called Aquafina.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Nothing. I'm just not used to seeing dragons.
Impressed, huh? Oh, wait till you see my backstroke.
So this is her voice now.
Impressed, huh? Oh, wait till you see my backstroke. I'm a wicked when I hit that liquid. I got water skills that kill. I slaughter when I hit the water. I'm like really good at swimming through rhyme. I was trying to make that I'm really good at swim. I'm a good swimmer.
So we can watch her on Raya and the Last Dragon. That's from this movie, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh, hey there, little fella.
I'd say we found.
Okay, sorry.
I slaughter when I hit the water. Oh, wait till you see my backstroke. I'm a wicked when I hit that liquid. I got water skills that kill. I slaughter when I hit the water. I'm like really good at swimming through rhyme. I was trying to make that I'm really good at swim. I'm a good swimmer. Is basically what I'm.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, it's a funny movie. I recommend you watch it. And this is Chris Colfer. I don't know so much about this guy, but he has very high F0, high formant frequencies.
Always, yes. Yes.
Give me some examples.
Well, like, I was in New York this week, and every time I'd call down to, like, order something for room service, they would say, oh, thank you, ma'am, it'll be there in 45 minutes. And honestly, it doesn't even bother me anymore. No. And, like, I remember...
Yeah, so you can listen to his...
Why
Always.
His examples, and there are some F0 formant mismatches. The fact that source and filter characteristics are independent of each other means that there can sometimes be source and filter mismatches. So basically you can have high F0 and low formant frequencies, or low F0 and high formant frequencies. That's just based on your physique. And what would high F0 combined with low formant frequencies sound like? The answer is the answer is actually Julia Child. I couldn't find any other actress, but we can maybe listen to Julia Child, and
that is petite.
see or hear her voice. She was a very famous chef back in the days and a TV star.
Wham, like that. Bon appetit. And Alsatian Traminer wine, which is a lovely, light, flowery wine that's not too dry and goes perfectly beautifully with vegetables. Whether you started it from scratch or from out of the can, when you've added all these little French touches, who's going to know?
Yeah, so you can listen to Julia Child, very high. So I would say the answer is Julia Child. If you have any examples of female speakers or just speakers with high F0 combined with low formant frequencies, let me know. We have another high F0 and low formant frequencies example in Roy Forbes. So this is Roy Forbes, who was a musician and a radio broadcaster for CKUA here in Canada. So this is how he sounds.
I keep looking over at this young guy here. He's so cute. Just a member of the Triple S Club, sensitive singer-songwriter. And feeling life deeply.
Yeah, so that's a high F0, low formants, right? And this is the opposite mismatch, low F0, high formant frequencies.
Ahoy! There she blows. That's the Sea Hag's Island.
If you've heard about Popeye, an old cartoon, but we watched it when I was a kid.
Up ahead.
Oh, Popeye, I'm afraid.
You got nothing to worry about, Olive.
He eats a lot of spinach and saves Olive all the time.
Come on, Olive. We gotta save little women and children from bandits. I'll get you out of this desert some way.
Yeah, and you can listen to that as well. So that's how Popeye sounds. He has low F0 and high formant frequencies, which I wanted to plot for you or just to just plot for you. What I can do here is open an Excel file and plot, for example, a formant frequencies of Popeye on Roy Forbes, Shaq, and maybe Cardi. So these are prototypical two ones, and these are not so prototypical, right? Roy Forbes and Popeye, right? Okay, let's give it a shot right now. So I'm going to start with Shaq, and I'm trying to find right somewhere in here.
And one last time before we hit three in a row, I just went in the office and I just ripped 5 off the wall. And Jerry West came in and he told me a story I didn't know. He said, "Son, calm down. I went to the finals 9." Son.
Maybe son. Yeah, but it's more of a.
But then when we come to the playoffs, we lose. So that player, but is he really a great player? He's not winning championships. I never thought we would win. So every year we got better. I never thought we would win. So every year we got better. Kobe and myself. Every year we got better.
Maybe got. Yeah, right. So if we take a look at his pitch, it's low, relatively low here, a little bit below average, and he has probably low formant frequencies. Let's check them out, right? So I guess this one could be at around 500 hertz, right? At around 500 hertz, and here second one 1329, 1329. All right, and F0 is around 118. Yeah, then we said Cardi B, I think she said something.
Watch.
Maybe watch. It's changing because she emphasized this part.
He just went.
I think.
Out his way.
Yeah, she won't say out his way, but she said it. She said it as if it was a. So you can see how high her F0 is. So around, what's the average? 268. And let's check her formant frequencies. Maybe like this. Okay. The first one is 1036. Second one is 1637. 1036, 1637. All right. Roy Forbes. Let's see what Roy does. Okay, here is Roy. I think he mentioned Dawson.
I wrote this song in Dawson Creek on a.
Yeah, maybe Dawson. right?
DOS, DOS.
He has, well, what we said was high F0, but low formant frequencies, and he does have a higher F0, right? It runs 171, and low formant frequencies. We'll see that right now. Okay, they're kind of glum. Yeah, maybe around 600. Second one, definitely not. So this one is a false former frequency. I wouldn't use that one. Let me check again, maybe just to make sure that I am properly doing this. All right, yeah, 124. Yeah, around 500. Around 500 could be okay. Difficult to tell, right? And the second one, 800 and 897, 866, 500, 450. Let's do that one. Let's do that one. Around 450 and 800 and what was the 97. All right, 887. So right, a bit lower, right? It's around 500. It's really difficult to tell for this speaker. When you're in doubt, you might want to check harmonics a little bit, but I think it's somewhere here, somewhere around 500. I'd rather say that. All right, and finally we got who's next? Popeye, right? Popeye. Let's see, Popeye.
Worry about, Olive. The sea hag's a smart one, but this time we're gonna surprise her. That's the sea hag's island up ahead. Up ahead. Oh, there she blows. That's the sea hag's island up ahead.
Oh, Popeye, I'm afraid.
You got nothing to worry about, Olive. The sea hag's a smart one, but this time we're gonna surprise her.
We'll see.
Maybe Ghana.
We're gonna
Yeah. Let's see when he is F0 here. Let me see another example.
We'll see who's gonna get this.
The sea hag's a You got nothing to worry about, Got nothing.
Guts, maybe?
Guts.
Ah, that's okay. So he has a supposedly low F0 and high formant frequencies. Let's see that. So let's say this is low, his F0 around 100, right? 101, and he has higher, yeah, definitely. Former frequencies 1020 and 1020, 1853, 1020, 1853. So we saw that Shag has, right, low F0 and low formants, right? Not as low as Roy, but still very low. Then we saw Cardi, who has high F0, right? High F0, really high, and high formants, right? And we can see that. We saw Roy, who has high F0 or higher F0 and low formants, right? Really low formants. And Popeye, who has low F0 and high formants, right? So that's the pattern. And we can plot these on somewhere on our vowel chart. No, I don't need this. Maybe this one, and we can plot it on a chart. Oops. We said F1, F2, right? F1, F2, low, low, and high, right? High, high. Now, we have some numbers here. Let me check them out like this. 513.29. So 513.29. Let's see. Let's make it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500, right? Maybe here we can have like 1000, right? And 13. Okay. Maybe here I can have 1500. 1329 would be somewhere, I don't know, somewhere here. 1329. So shacks would be here, right? And that's just how I drew it. Then the next one would be Cardi. Cardis would be all the way here. So, and it would be higher up, right? 16, so somewhere there. Oops. Right. Okay. Draw it again. Then row is very low, 450. Okay, so that would be somewhere here. This would be, oops. Let me grab another color. Roy. Right, and Popeyes 10, 20, 18, 53. All right, 10, 20, 80, 53. So somewhere the Cardi is, oh, even further here, right? Right here. Okay, another color, purple, Popeye. Somewhere here, right? If you are looking at these, something like that. So you see how they are different, right? And how we can have different formants based on the shape of the vocal tract, and that's about physique. It's not about sex or gender, right? It's just about our features. In conclusion, everybody's vowel space is different. A vowel space is defined by speaker's range of first formant and second formant frequencies. We identify vowels on the basis of the patterns formed by their formants within the acoustic space. That's the vowel space, right? F1 determines the height of vowels, and F2 determines the front and back of vowels. Rounding, if you wondered, lowers both formant frequencies. Why? Why is that so? Well, if you think about it, you're just protruding your lips further, ooh, and you are making the tube even longer. So it lowers both formant frequencies, right? Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. That would be all for now, and see you in our next lesson.